don't know how this works. But we'll find out, I guess. Let me see if this person is live. I don't think they are. Yo. Making a video. Okay. So, hi, welcome to my stream. I am trying to figure out everything right now. I'm trying to stream to YouTube too, and I have no idea how to see chat on YouTube. Oh, pop out dashboard. Oh, cool. So I'm just trying to test. I don't know if it's actually working or not. It's a little janky. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to figure this shit out for now. This is like really unintuitive and oh my god. Alright, my computer's like frozen, I think. Give me 1 second. Sorry, it's a little janky. My channel. Let me see. Oh my god. What is happening? Oh shit. It's actually showing up. 1 second, I gotta go to this channel. Oh shit, my first live stream. Let me turn this off. I'm getting a million messages right now, so I apologize. Holy shit. I just got bombarded with messages. But that's cool. I'm trying to learn some shit, so hopefully it looks good. I'm trying to set it up so I can see everything. But it's difficult to control this without a mouse. Holy fuck. Wow, Streamlabs is really janky. And of course it doesn't actually show my chat now because I minimized the screen. I love it. Okay, cool. So, wanted to teach you guys how to cut some vegetables. Did not say to anyone I was going live. I don't even know if this shit's working. Looks like it's lagging like crazy too. Holy fuck. Ooh. Kind of gross. Okay, well, this is the first time multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. First things first, I'm going to wash my hands, because that's the most important thing. When you're working in the kitchen, you always want to make sure that you're working clean. I probably won't dice. I have a pepper, I have some onions, and I have a shallot. I might just do the onions and the pepper. I can dice the pepper, but I'm probably just going to leave it in julienne strips, like slicing, just because I feel like it's better. My wife might kill me because maybe she doesn't want it cut that way. So let's aim my cutting board down a little bit. I'm still trying to get this camera all situated to figure out how it's going to work. My tripod is kind of ass. Oh my god. Oh my god. Give me a second. Oh shit. What the fuck? This shit's crazy. Oh my lord. Okay. I think you guys can see it correctly now. So, first things first, whenever you're like slicing and dicing, Well, you know what? Let's just start with the onions first because everyone's here for onions. So this is just a regular onion, nothing fancy. I'm first going to cut off the top of the onion like so, and then I'm going to cut off the root. This knife is dull, so I'm going to get a new knife. Give me a second. Sorry, this is my... I use that knife a lot, and I really need to sharpen it again. I recently did a sharpening stream, but a lot of my knives are really old, and my sharpening skills are not that great, so it is what it is. But yeah, so I cut off the root and I cut off the top. After I do this, I cut through the middle. And then yeah, after I cut through the middle, oh shit, I gotta move some stuff. Oh shit, give me 1 second. Alright, after you cut through the middle of the onion, so I cut off both ends because it creates a flat surface and it just makes it more uniform. It also makes it so no part is like, I don't know. A lot of people like, sometimes people will say to leave on the root. It just makes it easier for like slicing and dicing, but I prefer not to do that. In a professional kitchen, you're not going to use it, so there's no point, and it just creates an extra step. So I'm going to peel the onion like so. I have little containers, like deli cups. I'm going to put all the trash in here, just to get out of the way, keep it clean. And then same sort of thing. Boom. Peeled, out of the way. If you want to see how to slice and dice an onion, the common way that many people, and I guess like culinary schools or like they teach at home people, is you cut through the root like this. Oh my god, that's not straight at all. Whatever, so we'll do the same thing. It just makes it a little bit harder to peel. So that's usually why, oh sorry, I'm not showing the screen. That's usually why we don't end up doing that. It just takes a little bit longer because it is stuck to that root. So, as you can see, I'm doing a horrible job. And I sliced through this terribly. And for now, another deli container, we'll put these to the side. Cool. Oh shit. Looks like my wife was telling me. Sorry, my wife yesterday bought some kitchen shoes, and they were not good. Okay, so let's get back to slicing and dicing. So we got our onion like so. I'm going to show you the classic way. First things first. Well, there's a little bit of skin there still. First things first, I'm going to hold my knife sideways like this, and I'm just going to push it inside the onion like so. Oh my god, this knife is dull too. I need to like... Sorry, you're not really able to see because I'm putting my hand flat, but to make sure that it's secure and it's not moving anywhere, I usually will put my hand on top like this. This will also prevent it, so if it slips, I'm not going to cut my hand. But you can also hold it like this and just cut through. Oh my god, this knife is fucking duller than the other one. I'm going to go back to the other one. Holy shit. Then yeah, if you want to just do a simple dice like this, you're just cutting a few lines through the middle, and then you're going to go to the top, and then kind of like create a claw grip like this, and then just cut down. This video is a little bit janky, so I apologize. I'm not zooming in a whole lot either, but that's whatever. And I'm just creating little lines. Onions are awesome because they have natural lines, so if you're just following these lines, you can create a pretty awesome dice, you know? And you notice too on the onions that the lines are kind of rotating in a circle across the onions, so you're just going to cut with the lines, and now I'll make a perfect dice. So first steps first, just to review, you're going to cut lines horizontally inside the onion, then you're going to cut vertically down across the onion again. After you do that, you're going to swap it around and turn it sideways, and then all you do is just cut down like so, and boom, there's the dice. It's kind of ugly because it wasn't cut great, but it is what it is. And yeah, so that's an easy dice. Not a lot of effort. Sometimes if you're lazy like me and you forget to cut the whole way through, I just finish it off like this, turn it, rotate it, boom, done. So that's how you dice an onion. The kind of like restaurant way. Let me get my bench scraper. Give me one moment. So, In the culinary world, they refer to this tool as a bench scraper. It's really good for stuff like pastas, but it makes picking things up on your cutting board super, super easy. Also great for pastas and a bunch of other uses. But it's really great for cutting dough for pasta and whatever. But yeah, okay, tangent done. Now we're going to cut an onion. So if you want to slice an onion, well, now we're going to cut an onion by slicing it. So first things first, same kind of deal. I'm not going to cut the lines in horizontally. I'm just going to cut vertically down across it. And I'm going to go with the lines on the onion. As you can see again, there's natural lines on the onion. And you can just cut this way and it'll create perfect slices. Or you can just cut straight down. It's up to you. It really depends on your environment. But just for the home cook, we're just going to slice straight down because it's easier. Same deal, claw grip. And you can do the slicing many different ways. You can do a push cut, or you can, if you have a longer knife, you can kind of just like put the tip of your knife. So from this angle, you just put the tip knife in the ground and just cut it this way. And that's another way to do a rocking cut if you want to do it. I usually prefer longer knives, so I'll go back to my super dull knife that's longer, and we'll just slice downwards like this. Boom. So you can get slices like this by just pushing your knife and pushing forward, down and forward, down and forward, down and forward. When you start to get closer to the end of the onion, if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, the way you can do it to make yourself feel a little bit safer is rotating it on its side like this. After you do that, boom, same deal. Just down and forward, push cut, and boom, easy slices. So now we learned how to slice and dice an onion. If you want to make your dices smaller, you just create more lines horizontally. If you want to create your slices bigger or thinner, like larger or thinner, then you're just going to cut it closer together. Now I showed you how they would do it in the restaurant. Let me show you how they usually train you in, I don't know if it's culinary school, but how they train you in for home cook stuff, where you leave the root on. This makes it a lot more easy to dice, but I think it makes it more difficult to slice because you have that root still attached. So I cut it wrong also, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. You see this little tiny head right here and this gigantic blob. But we're just going to kind of go for the same sort of shape. When you're cutting an onion, you'll notice too that the lines on the onion slope downwards. So we want to keep following this trend of following the lines. So we're going to cut, when we're slicing, we're not going to go directly across. We're going to cut a little, we're going to angle our knife a little bit down to go with the lines. And this will create a better dice. The lighting in my apartment is not very good, so it's making it a little bit more difficult to see, which is unfortunate, but just going to go with that. And then boom, same sort of deal. I'm just going to cut downwards. This onion I cut in a really bad way, so it's making it a little bit more difficult to dice this because it's so gigantic. And we're just gonna do it the home cook way. This kind of keeps the onion together, so it makes it so it's not moving around a lot. That's kind of the bonus or like benefit for doing it this way if you want to dice. And then same sort of deal. Claw grip, put your hand down, and we're just gonna push, 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 and push. The only reason I don't like doing it this way is it's more difficult to rotate your onion when you get towards the end. And a lot of people like to kind of rotate their onion and drop it, so it makes it more easy to dice or slice or whatever, you know? But if you're doing this method where you're leaving the root on, you can't really do that. So it's a little bit more dangerous for people that are not comfortable around knives. So as we get towards the end, same sort of deal. Slice, slice, slice. That is not a good cut, but it's okay. And once you get to the end, usually it's kind of frayed like this. You'll see a bunch of little lines. You're going to get an ugly cut by doing it this way. But you can kind of dice it and not waste your onion. These are not perfect dices because you can see a slice right here. But that's another way to dice your onion if you want to do it that way. But I personally don't recommend it because I think it's uglier and it's more difficult to control for me. All right, I got a lot of onion now. All right. Cool. Let's see. I can't really see any chat, so if I make a mistake, I'm sorry. Or if I can't see anything, sorry. Okay, and then I like deli containers. They're awesome because it just lets you keep all your product together and all the trash together too. Like for instance, I had this nice deli container full of trash. It makes it easier to throw things away. And then same sort of deal. We'll do like just a quick dice on this onion as well. So because it's so thin, I only really need to do one cut in the middle, and then boom. I'm just going with the lines, going all the way up to the root. You can't really see, sorry. I'm gonna kind of angle it to you guys so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm cutting at an angle so I can go across the onion like this, just following the lines, and boom, cutting. And that's it. Like I said before, I personally don't like this way because it's a little bit ugly. This is not a really good dice, so it's not really a great example. So sorry about that. Sorry, the onions are getting to me. All right, and that's it for that. So this is kind of like a short stream. I'm not done yet, but the last thing I wanted to do, well, I have a shallot also. I have a shallot and I have a pepper, but let's show you guys how to cut a pepper, kind of how we do it at the restaurant at the lowest level. 1 second, I got like onion all over here and it's bothering me. Let me get a towel real quick. So I'm just gonna wipe this away, push this into my sink. And boom, done. Okay, so relatively clean. My phone just fell. Awesome. And yeah, I probably should include my like Discord link or something just in case people have like ideas. But I'm also streaming this live on YouTube, so you can comment in those comments and I'll see it 100%. If you want to see more vegetables or want to see me actually cook something, I'm more than happy to do that. I kind of want to do more cooking videos. But yeah, anyways, enough of me rambling. Let's get back to the vegetables. So this is a green bell pepper. You can see the bottom is not like super great, but it's whatever. The way I approach and tackle this vegetable is I kind of turn it on its side, with the top and the bottom facing horizontally, and then I'll cut the top off first. That's usually what I do. After I cut the top off, I'll set this aside, and sometimes I'll cut off the bottoms as well. It really depends on the size and shape of your bell pepper, because sometimes I know when you get red bell peppers, they're usually weirdly shaped, especially in restaurants. We get some really oddly shaped long ones that are really difficult to cut. This is more of an easy one. I'll try to find a harder one later just so you guys can see. But as you can see, I kind of cut it so that it's perfectly flat on all sides, and it makes it just easy to rest on the cutting board. It's not going to wobble or anything. And then all I do is I just cut straight down to open it up. So you can see this kind of white shit in the middle of it. It's kind of what's holding the seeds together, the seed pods and all that sort of stuff. I forgot its name, so that's my bad. I can get the information later, but it kind of has a bitter taste. So I personally, when I'm eating bell peppers, I don't want it in my dishes. But I'm going to teach you how to cut out the seeds really easily, so there's no seeds on any of your flesh. So after I cut off one of the sides, I'm just going to rotate it over on its side again and open it up, and then I cut down. And I cut down towards the flesh. See, it's hard to see, but my knife is angling against the edge of the flesh, and I can see where it is because of the white sort of interior, and I just rotate my knife around. And I get rid of almost all the shit that's bad while keeping the seeds separate, you know. So I have all this, all these seeds, everything, and on my actual flesh, there's nothing. No seeds, nothing. So that's an easy way to kind of like make sure you're maximizing your pepper, you know. You don't want to waste produce, and you don't want to I don't know, lose money, right? So there's this black like piece that's no good. The rest of the pepper's great, so I'm gonna keep that. And then if you want to make like, I mean, well, sorry, I'm kind of rambling again, but we hey, what's up, G-Man? How's it going? I'm just cutting vegetables, dude. But yeah, if you want to make longer julienne strips, you're just gonna like cut these longer. If you want to, I don't know, make smaller ones, then it is what it is. But yeah, we just kind of cut it down into sections that makes it more easy to break down. And then if you want to do julienne strips, you just do the same thing. Push cut and boom, done. Easy. So that's how you make julienne strips. How are you doing, G-Man? It's been a long time. Now we're a cooking stream. Not really. This is just a cutting stream in this moment. But yeah, there you go. Julienne strips. So it just makes it really easy to cut. You never cut the outside of a pepper either, because it's going to be really difficult to cut through with your knife. Cooking is fun. I work on the inside. I've done the outside too, but I definitely prefer the inside because customers, while they're great, they also suck. But yeah, I'm just going to keep cutting julienne strips, cutting the flesh from the inside. If you want to get rid of whatever the fuck this white shit is, I forgot its name. Want to get rid of that shit because it tastes a little bit bitter, just trim it off. That's why this method is really easy, you know, and just good. So yeah, that's how you julienne a pepper. So now that we julienne the pepper, if we want to dice a pepper, we're just going to get our stacks of julienne peppers and move them to the edge of our cutting board. I know it's a little bit difficult to see, so I'll try to move my cutting board up, because right now with this camera setup, it's a little bit difficult to do a bunch of stuff, and this camera's new, so I'm kind of getting used to it. But when I'm cooking at home by myself, I'm going to keep the ingredients usually a little bit closer to me because it's easier for control. Because it's a video, I'm going to push the cutting board up. But yeah, when I'm like after I've done julienning peppers, I'm going to just put them in little stacks like this, because we're not trying to make perfect dices here. This is for home cooking. And then after that, put them in little stacks like this, and then just cut them in mass. So same sort of deal, claw grip, and I'm just going to go push cut. Putting my knife tip into the cutting board and moving it as I go. I'm pressing down on the vegetables and tucking my thumb so I don't chop it off. And I'm just rotating my knife, or moving my knife down the cutting board with my hand. My middle finger's knuckle is pressing against the knife blade, because that allows me to maintain control. And there's zero risk of me ever cutting my finger, even if I'm not looking, because I can always feel where the blade is. And I'm never going to lift it over this this middle finger. When I get, maybe I'll move my desktop closer to my kitchen, and then I can show you cutting vegetables while not even looking at them, because we're at that point now. So boom, that's how you dice a pepper. Quick and easy. This is my technique for cutting it quickly. Let's move it back. And then let me get a small deli. Well, no, we're not done with that yet. But let me get my small deli container. I love these because it just makes storage of vegetables and things you've cut easier. But yeah, cooking's fun. I love cooking. I'm going to change industries soon, I think, but we'll see. But yeah, boom, done. There's your diced pepper. We can put it to the side. So, we're not finished with this yet, though. There is... I can make beef Wellington. I have made beef Wellingtons. I worked for Gordon Ramsay's North America, so I can make his beef Wellington too. I'm not going to comment on the cooking process or the recipe though, because I don't want to get sued. Because they make you sign a bunch of NDAs when you work for that company. So even saying that much is probably going to get me in trouble. But yeah, I worked for Hell's Kitchen in Washington D.C. My role there was a CTL, so I was basically a supervisor, and I worked in the preparation kitchen as a production manager. That was my job. So I taught people how to cook, and I made sure that they were following the recipes, and yeah, assisted with training people in new recipes too, and we had seasonal changes. So I didn't really explain what I was doing, but you have the stem of your pepper, and you can cut julienne strips around that too. They're going to be a little bit more like weirdly shaped. They're not going to be straight like the actual like main body, but you can still get, so you're not wasting anything. You can still get like pretty good julienne strips out of this. I can make a beef Wellington though. It's a multi-step process. If you want me to give you a generic, I'm not going to give you a recipe, but and like what ingredients are in it, because I have to be really careful with that. But it's basically the same as what you see on the internet for the most part. It's puff pastry. You have your puff pastry. You have a duxelle that you're going to cook ahead of time with a random variety, well, not a random, but a variety of different mushrooms. I'll have to make a recipe, I think, if I want to talk more about it without getting in trouble and giving away information. But yeah, you're making a duxelle out of usually a wine reduction plus a mixture of mushrooms and then various herbs to give it more like a better aroma and just more seasoning and flavoring. Some people opt for prosciutto in theirs, but for people that don't eat pork, you're gonna opt out of that. And then you're gonna have your fillet. The size depends on what, I guess your customer base or what you can get in the grocery store. But you want to make sure it's pretty small, probably like this big. I mean, it's not a really good indicator, but you want it to be kind of small. And then you're just going to pre-sear it before you even cook it. Then for the actual process of rolling it, you do, and crepe. I forgot about crepe. Oh my god, that's like one of the most important parts. Yeah, so you have to make a crepe also. So if you want to make a Wellington yourself, basically what you're going to do is you're going to cook everything ahead of time. The crepe, you're going to sear off the steaks ahead of time, and you're going to make the duxelle ahead of time. And after you do that, you're going to lay out your crepe. Once you lay out your crepe, you're going to put duxelle on, or no, put prosciutto on, put duxelle on, and then put your filet on, and then wrap it. After you do this, you kind of plastic wrap it to make it a little bit easier. Make sure it's maintaining its shape. Once it's cooled down and it's maintaining your shape, then you're going to unwrap it, and then you're going to do the same process again with puff pastry. Wrap it with puff pastry, then done. Fancier places, you're going to score the Wellingtons on the outside just to make it look really awesome. But some places opt not to do that just because it's a lot of work. And there's a high margin for error. And then you're going to egg wash it prior to cooking. Then you're just going to cook it. I think it's usually like, you know what, I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not telling you any recipes or anything, but this is the process for making Wellingtons. You can see these on YouTube. But yeah, I'll make my own video, I think, as well. But yeah, it's cool. So yeah, I'm just going to dice some more peppers up. Rock and roll. So yeah, we can make a Wellington on stream. I can do all the basics, like the different pieces of it. That might be a long stream though, because there's a lot of different steps. But yeah, we could do that. I think that'd be fun. I kind of want to like come up with more ideas. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't really call myself a chef. I do chefing. My wife calls me a chef. I have friends that call me a chef, but I don't consider myself a chef because I better at following recipes than I am at making recipes, and I can kind of eyeball things and fix stuff, which a chef can do. But in terms of like actual recipe fabrication, I'm not too great at coming up with stuff myself. But I'm good at building off existing ideas. That's what I would say my strength is. So yeah, this is a shallot. I didn't really comment on it. I just started cutting it and went into autopilot mode. But yeah, same sort of deal as an onion. I cut off both the ends because it makes life easier. And yeah, if you want to dice it, slice it, it's the same concept as an onion. You're going to see it's not perfectly circular, but you can see all the lines running through it. So that's going to be your kind of guiding cuts. For peeling off the skin, you can like, I'm just going to run a knife through it and pull off the skin that way. But you can do it a bunch of different ways. Shit, I gotta edit this video too. I don't know how people do it. I downloaded some editing software, so I want to kind of start making cooking videos and just doing a bunch of stuff, you know? I'm kind of tired of working in kitchens because it's really, well, it's fun when you're a line cook, I would say, but then I'm at the point now where I just, every single kitchen I go into, I always get a bunch of responsibility that I don't necessarily want, but it gets forced upon you, kind of like the army, sort of. They say, okay, you're assigned these tasks, and your task is assigning other people tasks. And it's like, fuck. Because people's attitudes are really shitty, usually, in the kitchen. I've only been in, like, 2 kitchens that I liked, but then the dynamic always gets kind of fucked up when new people come in that are not great sometimes. But this is how you dice an onion. I didn't explain it at all. Let me get another deli cup that's smaller. Shit, I didn't open it. Shit. I was gonna play games like Resident Evil and some other shit, but I kind of just realized I'm kind of just talking to the abyss right now. But I kind of just realized I don't like playing games for the sake of playing games on stream, you know? I tried doing that earlier and I was like, I can't do this. I need to just do something that's like, not really teaching, I guess. Oh shit, this is an ugly dice. So, I like didn't cut through it correctly, I guess. I missed a spot, so you can see like my dice is not wonderful. There's like a bunch of pieces that are too big, but if you fuck up like this and you kind of have like julienne strips, that was not intentional. The cuts with vertical cuts. Yes, sir. Then vertical horizontal cuts and vertical cuts, same as an onion. But if you fuck up and have like little extra strips like that, you can always fix it by lining them up and then just doing the same process. Horizontal cuts and then vertical cuts. I like doing the horizontal cuts first because it just makes it so it's easier to keep the onion or shallot or whatever you're cutting together. If you're doing it the opposite way, it usually splits apart more easily, I feel like. Do I need to cut the rest of this? I'm going to do it for stream, but I don't think I need it for anything for cooking. I don't know what I'm going to cook tonight for dinner, too. I'm trying to cook a little bit more for my wife, because normally she cooks a lot more for me, and I think she's tired of it, which is understandable because she's also a chef, so it's difficult. But yeah, we're just doing horizontal cuts, and then from there we're just going to do some vertical cuts as well. Like I said before, you can make the lines. Also, this knife is really difficult to cut downwards with because this is my first kitchen knife. Peniella vodka. Oh, I could do that. But yeah, I dropped this on the floor when I my first week in the kitchen, and it got bent and the tip broke. So it's difficult to actually cut down. So let me get my other knife real quick and do these cuts. Oh shit! Since I'm cutting shit at home, I don't have to use. Oh man, okay. So I've been using my my work knives. Peniella vodka, dude. Pastas I actually enjoy a lot. Shit, sorry, I'm cleaning my knives real quick because I realized I'm not at work. I don't need to use these knives. I use these knives. They're my first knives ever. I love them to death, but they're starting to lose their edge because they're so old. And I haven't like maintained them as best as I could. So shit. We can bring. Do I want to bring out the big boy knife? Yeah, I'll bring out the big boy knife. Shit. Let me get my big boy knife. Okay, let me show you this. Mr. G-Man. Dude, I haven't used this knife in a million years, but this is my Yu Kurosaki knife. It doesn't look like super fancy or anything, but this is like this is the knife I don't bring to work because it's gonna get stolen. It's like a $600 knife. Yeah, but I love it. It's woof. I love that guy. Oh, let me show you my other big boy knife. And then oh man, it is Japanese, and it is better because it is Japanese. But it's just the guy who made it is regarded as like he does like traditional blacksmithing methods, so he's considered like preserving history, I guess, in the way that he does his shit. And also, look at this. This is my other big boy. This is the real big boy knife. When I was doing sushi. Why, this is the real big boy knife. I love this thing too, but I only really cut with this when I'm like cutting through like really big pieces of like meat, or like if I'm filleting a fish or something like this. For me, it's easier. And it just looks really cool, so people are like, oh my god, that's such a big knife. What is he compensating for? And I say, shit, they found me out. No, I'm kidding, I'm just playing. But yeah. I love that knife. It's an awesome knife. Let's cut some onions. But yeah, ooh. But I love this because I don't even have to do anything. It just like cuts through. Shallots are a little bit like, for me, more difficult to cut because they're weirdly shaped in the middle, comparatively to things like onions. They're more uniform. Shallots are kind of all over the place. I'm also doing a cardinal sin by scraping my knife against the cutting board. Don't ever do that. If you value your knife sharpness, especially if it's a wooden cutting board, because it's gonna destroy the edge or dull the edge really quick. Sorry for the whatchamacallit. Penne alla vodka. Do I even have penne? I might. I was gonna do carbonara as well, actually. That was on my list. I don't have penne. I have linguine and I have I need a different deli container. That's what I need. So yeah, maybe I'll do a carbonara tomorrow. I have to figure out the setup for streaming cooking. Any pasta really works. Oh, nice. Rigatonis are good too. I just love pasta in general, man. I would love to do like a pasta making stream, but I could do like pastas without using a pasta machine, but honestly, I'm really lazy and I don't really want to do that. I can though, but that's a lot of work, and it's a mess because I'm messy. When I used to work in sushi, they called me the tornado, and now I use that not as an insult, but as a way to like talk to people who are my subordinates in the kitchen. It's like, oh man, hurricane blah 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 just rolled through, you know, or tornado, or shit. What's up, tornado? That's what I'll say, you know. I know. So it was really bad because I was like really messy. So they would say, they're like, here you go, tornado. I was like, what? But it was a Spanish guy, so it's like tornado, I think is what he'd call me. Let me show you one more onion actually, because I want to show you kind of another way to do it. This way I don't particularly recommend because it's a lot sloppier. If you do this in a professional kitchen, you're going to get your ass beat, especially if it's a place that wants it all uniform. But I'll show you a lazy way to slice and dice onions. Well, it's more of a lazy way to like dice onions rather. But if you don't really care and you kind of just want to do it quickly, my wife was watching some dumb YouTube video where they were like, I don't even know how, I have to watch. She has to show me how she did it again. But she did like a weird thing where she like chopped it up and then cut it like one of those dumb like TikToks where they're like trying to show off, but it's like a huge waste. But she was watching one of those. But let me show you a lazy way. I had to stop people from doing this in the kitchen because one guy was like, "Oh yeah, this is the best way to slice and dice onions." But it's really like you're not gonna get good shapes, especially if you're doing it fast. But same sort of concept for the restaurant style. We cut off the root because the root slows you down, and speed is really, really important, especially when you're getting paid to slice and dice onions. If you're not getting paid, keep the root on if it's easier for you. But if you're getting paid to do that, take the root off. It's faster. It makes it easier to peel. Not going to waste time then. But yeah, let me show you a lazy way to cut onions for like the dice. So instead of doing what we normally do, which is cutting horizontal lines of varying sizes depending on what size dice you want, and then cutting vertically down, you're going to miss a step, or you're going to skip a little bit. Instead of doing that, instead of cutting the horizontal lines into the onion, you're just going to cut horizontally downwards. See? So I cut like a horizontal line, but it's not straight. That's the only downside of doing it this way. But I've cut my onion down horizontally, and then same sort of deal. You can see it's not perfectly straight, but I've cut lines, you know. After I do that, I rotate. And I've been mentioning the lines a lot because it's going to be important for this kind of cut, because you're going to start slicing the onion based on the lines and going around like this. So you can see I'm not cutting straight down like I normally would be. I'm going to cut at an angle. So I'm cutting like this, and I'm cutting like this, and I'm cutting like this, and I'm going with the lines. And then I can do, because I don't have a root, I can rotate it downwards to keep it flat so I can keep my fingers safe. So if you're looking for just a lazy way to kind of like dice but not really dice, this is one way to kind of just do it quickly, where you just cut straight lines and then boom, cut it down. But you can see it's not a true dice. It's more of like a line, honestly, like a small line. So yeah, that's another way to dice an onion. Not very well, so do not recommend. But it's a good way if you want to do it fast and you don't really give a shit about the shape. And yeah, what else can we do with the onion? If you want to see some really fine cuts for an onion, I can show you that too. Let me get a small container for this. These I can use for something. But yeah, if you want to see a really fine sort of dice, I can show you that as well. Let's see. So, also don't recommend this. It doesn't have a really good practical use because there's a lot of waste. If you are making risotto, for instance, then I would probably recommend this, but I'd be using shallots, not onions, white onions. But if you want to just cut an onion really, really thin and use it for some dish and have it kind of melt into your dish because it's so small, this cut I recommend. Well, I don't recommend it, but it's a cut you can use. So to make, it's going to be really tedious and long too, but to make a really fine dice, we kind of want to make everything uniform and straight, right? So the ends that are kind of slanted like this, we're going to get rid of. Oh, well, actually, no, I'm not going to do it that way. That's the stupid way to do it. I just totally fucked this up already. Normally we don't cut it. Normally what we're doing is we're going to just peel the onion like this. And it seems really tedious and silly to peel an onion, but And I honestly just bust up the onions whenever I do this, so I don't like doing it this way. God damn it. So I suck at this shit, so that's why I don't do this. But if you want to make a really fine sort of dice, you're going to peel the onion, Jesus Christ, into the individual layers. And once you get down towards the middle, you're going to like save these pieces for veggie stock or whatever, you know. The pieces that aren't uniform, the pieces that are busted up. This one I can use. And usually what like a lot of high-level restaurants are doing is they're kind of like leveling out the onion and cutting it into like perfect squares and lines. This isn't a perfect square or a line, but it's a piece that I can kind of push down and make into like a sort of rectangle, so it's more easy to cut more fine, you know? And because it's a single layer of onion, I can cut it super thin and super fine without it moving around a whole lot. And now I got really thin lines, you know? This is better with shallots, obviously. And then same sort of deal that I did with the pepper. I'm going to line up my julienne strips over here, my lines, and then just hold them and then cut, you know? And cut. So this is not going to be a perfect dice by any means because it was not cut into a perfect square, but you can see like it's kind of small, you know, comparatively to how a normal dice would be. It's a lot more fine. So yeah, kind of like a more straight piece like this, I would kind of cut off the parts that are too big, and I'd cut the ends off too to kind of level it out. But this is not practical for the home chef. It's not, there really isn't a need for this in a lot of dishes. But it's just another kind of like style, you know? And then same sort of deal, just cutting it into thin strips. After you do that, kind of line it up. If I was putting a little bit more care into this, I would make sure that they're all facing the same way, so that they're all going to come out the same. But this is for home cooking, so it doesn't really matter that much. And then yeah, just cut down, and that's how you make thin cuts. But it's very long, very tedious. Do not recommend. But yeah, we're just gonna cut vegetables. For something that's not cooking related, I've gone into retro games. I got a bunch of hardware to be able to stream retro games, so I kind of want to do that. But I want to make my primary focus cooking, I think, because I think it's interesting. More interesting. But I would like to play retro games again, kind of like old Xbox games or like original Xbox games and a bunch of other stuff. So this is ugly. It's not a perfect dice. There's some like stuff that's not a dice, but if you want to cut it down really thin like this, it makes it really easy to mince onions as well. But you can also use a Roboku or a machine to do that. The only reason I wouldn't recommend a Roboku, even though it's better like 90% of the time, is that it's gonna release a lot of water and liquid. So you're gonna lose a lot of the juices that, and that's where the flavor is, you know. So that is another reason I wouldn't recommend using one of those. But for speed and efficiency, well, for speed, I would say that's a good idea. I kind of just went off to the side. I wasn't using the middle of my cutting board. But yeah. Boom, done with that. Not a beautiful mince or like fine dice, but that is one way to cut a dice or cut an onion finely. I got a little lazy there at the end, admittedly, but yeah. And okay, cool. So yeah, that's an onion cut a little bit finely. And there's that. I'm gonna wash my hand. Okay. What else can I do in this time frame? Let me get some lids for these real quick. I have parsley. I could mince some parsley for you guys real quick before before I sign off and call it a day. That might be fun. So mincing parsley is, I would say, pretty easy, but a lot of people, they kind of just like mash it, you know, into their cutting board and cut it too roughly, and that bruises it, and then you're gonna, all the flavor that you want is gonna be lost in your cutting board. So let me show you how to mince a lot of parsley really easily. So, okay, cutting board clean. That's good. Yeah, I feel bad for my wife. I recommended her to use Skechers in the kitchen, but the floors in her kitchen suck. So, it's a little bit rough. Whoa. I'm glad that, whoa, holy moly, okay. Well, I was going to show you guys how to cut some parsley, but this parsley is looking a little sad. Okay. So, I don't want to waste this parsley. We're going to find the parts that are not great and get rid of those. And I also don't like stems. Stems suck for parsley. So let's move the parts that are not super stemmy away. There's a lot of stems here, so I'll cut these stems out. Oh man. Okay. Parsley. Wow, that is not good. Usually when I go to a grocery store, I try to wash my herbs prior to eating them or using them, because they can be a little bit gross sometimes. These ones have been sitting in there for a long time, so I'm glad I pulled it out so the bad parts aren't going to make the good parts worse. So yeah, we have a lot of parsley here. I do not like stems, so I'm going to try to stem it a little bit. I prefer to remove the stems before I cut, because no one wants to eat that, especially when it's in something like a meatball, because that fucking sucks, right? You're trying to enjoy a nice meatball, or I don't know, something with minced parsley in it, and then you get a stem and you're like, fuck, this tastes like shit. This does not feel good. So I usually like to stem it, but it takes a long time. But I'm not going to say I'm beyond being lazy and not doing that. So for the sake of this video, we're going to remove the stems, at least the hard stems. And this also lets me like look for the parts that are shitty too, because there are a couple shitty bits in here still. Okay. Cool. All right. Let me get rid of this too, because it looks looking sad. All right, parsley. So normally if the parsley's good, normally if it's in a big bunch, normally if it's in a restaurant, I'll kind of like bunch it together. I can't chiffonade it because it's not like leaves, but chiffonade is like when you take larger leaves and then roll smaller leaves into it and then kind of create like, not a burrito, but you roll it and it makes it easier to slice it. For the parsley, I'm just going to kind of group it up, and then same thing, rocking cut and move it across my cutting board. Rocking cut, move it across my cutting board, at least for the big pieces right now. So I've gotten most of the big leaves cut. You can see it's kind of cut up a little bit. We're going to mince this parsley. So we're going to do another step. Move this uncut parsley to the side and then rotate it. I'm going to rotate the parsley after cutting it once, and then I'm going to run my knife across it again, just moving it up and down. Try to do this with a sharp knife, not a dull knife, or else you're going to just bruise your herbs, and all that wonderful flavor is going to go into your cutting board, and you're not going to taste it. And then same thing, just kind of hold your knife by the end like here, and then use your hand top to kind of rock it and allow it to rock across your herbs. It makes it really easy to like move quickly and create a good mince. When you've minced it a little bit, if you're still not happy with where you're at, Same sort of thing, just group your herbs up, create a little line, and then same thing, just run your knife across. Boom, done. There's your minced parsley. I'm going to mince the rest of it, just because I don't want it to go bad. And let me get a smaller container to put this in. Shit, this guy. Yeah, I guess that message can apply to a lot of different things, huh? Alright, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of paper under it just to kind of protect the herbs. This will absorb some moisture and I think keep it fresher for longer. Just what I was taught by my teachers. And the same sort of deal. Kind of like bunch up your herbs. Don't handle them too much or be too rough with them, or else they're going to get bruised and they're going to be sad. And no one likes sad vegetables or herbs. So, yeah, same deal. And just kind of rock your knife across. Okay, well, that was all I really had planned for today. I think next time I do a stream, I'll actually cook something. Pasta was something that was requested, so I'm gonna probably go with carbonara because it's easier. Or if I still have these vegetables left over, I can use these for some sort of pasta. Oh my god, my PlayStation just updated. Or PlayStation Plus games are available, guys. If you have a PlayStation, let them know. Oh yeah, bacon. I love bacon too. So I use bacon in my carb just because it's more accessible and easy to get. But if you're doing it the right way, guanciale is the way to do it, or whatever the fuck you call it. Yeah. Anyways, guys, that is it for me. Yeah, so expect a pasta stream in the future. I'm going to research ideas. Sell pancetta in Whole Foods. Oh, I could do that too. Pancetta is good. Pancetta is good for carbs also. Guanciale pancetta. Not prosciutto. But pancetta is good. A lot of good options. But yeah. Thank you guys so much. That is it for me today. I'm going to get ready to clean up the house a little bit and get ready to pick up my wife. But yeah, pasta is on the way. Maybe more vegetables. Cutting complicated fruits and vegetables. This is kind of like a basic bitch. Not super overly complicated or caring about precision way of cutting vegetables, but just hey, maybe people don't know how to cut vegetables, and here's an easy way to do it. Yeah, so anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys